Hey, Warrior Saints. Glad to have you beautiful people with us today on today's edition of our Crucifixional live stream as we wrap up our week where we're talking about kind of this idea of how am I hearing things? It's not always about what it's about. Am I hearing what it's really about, or am I only hearing what I want to hear? Am I only hearing things? And Eli did a beautiful job yesterday. It was his first time. He did great, right? Yeah, he did great. Make sure you put in the comments how great he did. That way you can feel like he did great. Like he did great. He did a good job. It was good. I'll stop talking about how great it was, but it was really good. I was proud of him. So I taught him everything he knows. And he did an awesome job talking about it from the counseling perspective, about how important it is for us to listen. In order for us to get there, we have to recognize a few things about what is actually going on when we're listening. Are we actually hearing things? Are we actually hearing what's going on? Whenever you're in an issue with someone, whenever there's tension, we all know this. There's three sides to the story, right? There's my perspective, the other person's perspective, and then somewhere in the middle is the actual truth. Because we're each coming at it from the perspective of what we want done, what we think happened, and what we heard. And what we heard, we always hear through filters. There's no way around that. Our filters are a product of our, experiences, things that have happened in our lives. I remember when my wife and I first got married, we went to Target and we bought a piece of furniture and it was a little bit less than the IKEA test. The IKEA test of a relationship is like the true test. We did that a couple weeks later. This was the first of those tests. We went to Target, bought some furniture, and as we were carrying the box in, she said something. I reacted to something. She didn't ever see my anger like that before. I don't think I was that angry. I don't really think I'm someone that gets riled up, but something in my reaction, I just gave her a look and she very quickly went to the bedroom and needed a moment to process. When we finally got to a point where we could talk about it, we started unpacking what was going on. She was frustrated with my look because she thought that I was calling her stupid with my eyes. I was frustrated by what she said because I thought she was calling me stupid with her words. At the end of the day, what we were really doing was needing to deal with how are we figuring out this box that has some damage on it. And in the end, because of the filters, we couldn't actually get to the real thing because we were hearing things through that filter. How do we get around that? And I think the big key on how we get through that and how we get around some of that is something that we like to call the 3-second rule. The 3-second rule. And you can see this all over the place now. It's a thing that's out there. But it's something that we all need to implement in our lives. Is when we're actually listening to someone and hearing what they're saying, in order to get through our filters and in order to get through to what actually is going on, if we wait 3 seconds to make sure that they're actually done speaking, it gives a little bit of space. And by providing that little bit of space, they might either continue on, which then might explain further what's really going on. So then we might actually get to the heart of the matter and get to the point. Or we'll actually know that they're done talking and then we're able to speak. But it also means that we're not just jumping on one of these things that we hear said. Like we all have those conversations, right? I'm talking to someone, they say something pops into my head, and I immediately respond because of what's popped into my head. I don't let them even finish their thought. I just simply jump on what they're saying. That especially happens when we talk about things that we're passionate about. So like if Eli and I, as an example, are talking about sports, we're coming at the football from different perspectives. I love the greatest team in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a fan of the dirtiest team in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. I'm saying this all while he's sitting here filming me. And the reality is, because we're both passionate about our teams, like we start taking shots and things pop and we immediately start reacting to the first thing that pops and we don't let the other one finish their sentence. But isn't that precisely what Proverbs is telling us again, speaking against in the verse that we're looking at? Isn't that precisely what Proverbs is doing when it says, whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, But he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. I would say yes, that's exactly what we're being told not to do. We're told not to jump. We're told to be slow to anger, as Eli talked about, to be patient in our response, to have that space so that we're actually hearing what is going on and able to get through some of our filters before we go on. Now, this is something that we all struggle with. Father and I both struggle with it. We both have to ask the other one to allow the other one to finish this thought before we are jumping in. That was unclear. Sometimes he jumps in on me. Sometimes I jump in on him, and we're trying to have a conversation. We have to ask the other one, like, hey, just give me a minute. Let me finish my thought before you jump on that. So it's something that we're really fighting through and really struggling with, which is why we deal with it so often in our video series on the Way of the Warrior Saint, which you can subscribe to by visiting us at warriorsaints.org. warriorsaints.org. When you get there, you're going to see our flagship offering, the Way of the Warrior Saint. Once you get in there, you are going to find a variety of topics. Father rattled off a whole list of video names earlier in the week. I'm going to throw them out there now. How to reconcile with a jerk, our newest one. Conflict resolution. How to have compassion when people irritate us. Anger is the new happiness. Vengeance. Choose how you see it. How to handle an ad hominem argument. Seeing clearly. This series is phenomenal. It's like short, 4 different videos, all dealing with how do we see clearly, recognizing it's not what it's always about, and how do we listen. Get there. It's going to help. It's going to help show you how to do things. It's going to be that process that Father Chris talks about. Like, visit warriorsaints.org. Subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. Watch the videos. Implement what's going on. Find success in your life. Find greatness. Find your way to overcome the chaos that is surrounding us so that you can be who God has created you to be. So, we'll be back on Sunday with Orthros and Divine Liturgy at 9 and 10 a.m. respectively. And until we see you then, visit us and then keep walking on the Way of the Warrior Saint.